Howdy Hogan neighbors, what's going on? Phil Russert. Hope everybody's having a good week. We're getting over the hump here, and hopefully we're going to a smooth weekend. Really cool guest tonight. I've been a big fan of his work for a long time. I've known him, I think, since 2012. One of the nice guys in the industry, one of the top talents in the industry, true fan as well. And we're gonna talk about his new campaign and his career and everything going on. I just want to remind everybody, support indie. We stress the hell out of these campaigns, so please don't make us stress. Go ahead and back. We're going to show his campaign today, and we want to see him fund quickly so that he can rest easy the next 24 to 48 hours. Anyway, without further ado, in my opinion, one of the absolute all-star artists in the industry, V. Marion.
Hey, what's up, Phil? How's it
What's going
going?
on?
That was a great intro. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for having me.
So for those of you who don't know, V. is like 6'5", I think, or something. So he's sitting down in his chair so he can look like he's normal size. But anyway, yeah, man, I remember I met you for the first time at New York Comic Con when they had the Artist Alley on the other side, and
Yeah, yeah.
you had done my favorite characters, everybody knows, Nightcrawler, and you did a sample page, 3 sample pages for X-Men with Nightcrawler and Wolverine, and I looked at that. And I literally out loud said, "Holy shit!" And I own those pages, and they're framed, and they're nice. And since then, we've talked and BS'd, and I've gotten you on tons of jams back there. So it's just been awesome. I mean, you're a really amazing artist, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's so funny because I was thinking about that. I remember that like it was yesterday. Like that when I'm meeting you with those X-Men pages when New York Comic Con was like way back there. But that was like, yeah, it was like 10 years, over 10 years ago. Crazy
About
how
12
time
years, yeah.
goes. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember you had just done, what was that book for DC? It was like a throwaway character book, but it was your push into DC from Aspen.
Oh, Bloodlines. Yeah.
Bloodlines. And I looked at the artwork and I was like, this is making me want to buy a book that I wouldn't care about. The art is so good. And then of course you rocketed, and you've been doing Trinity and Green Lantern and stuff. And I remember when you were
Thank you.
frustrated, like, man, I just want to get in there and get my break, and here you are.
Bloodlines was a super fun book. I think that was an underrated book because the characters didn't have like costumes. Like it was like kind of like it wasn't like DCU like proper. Like it was in the DCU, but it wasn't like the characters everyone knows. But I thought that was like really cool because I'm like a '90s guy, so it was fun to that be like my break into DC was like revitalizing those '90s characters
Yeah, I
for
remember you're
sure.
a Kyle Rayner dude, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's my Green Lantern. Yeah, all
You
the
know,
way,
I
and then
have
Wally West too.
I have to tell you, I loved the Kyle Rayner run, and it was shocking with his girlfriend in the refrigerator. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that
But
was messed up. Yeah.
but yeah, I love Kyle Rayner too. I think he's a great character. I think the '90s, when they were bringing the new generation characters in, that was a time where they actually made great characters off of the originals, the
Oh yeah.
Flash and everything. I agree. But
Yeah. It was like it felt like it was like a lot of like creativity was into it. You know what I mean? Like Kyle was like his whole like he had like such a cool costume. Daryl Banks designed such a great visual for him with that like all black suit with like the green gauntlets and stuff. He just screamed like this would be like a super cool action figure. And like I had his action figure when I was a kid in the '90s. So he was a very very cool character to me.
I thought that, like you said, even though they were taking over the mantles, they were their own characters. They weren't just facsimiles. They weren't just cheap knockoffs. They really became their own characters. And you, how
Mm-hmm.
did it feel to finally get to work on them? I mean, you got to work on some of your favorite characters.
Oh, dude, that was a trip and a half, man. Like, especially with the whole all the Green Lantern stuff, because he's like one of the like my main like in DC Comics, like my main favorite characters are Superman, Green Lantern, and Flash. So being able to work on the Hal Jordan Green Lantern book was awesome. And like Hal is like he's like neck and neck with Kyle as like my favorite Green Lantern. And like I got the job to work on it, I was like stoked. And then I got the email that was like, oh, by the way, like Kyle, because at the time Kyle was a White Lantern when I was like just starting to work on that book. And he said, Kyle's going to be a Green Lantern again. Here's the design. and they sent me the email, and I'm like, oh, this will be interesting. Like, we'll see what his new look is. And I popped it open, and it was like his real, in my opinion, his real classic look. And I was like, holy shit! And I like called my wife over, like my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now. I called her over. I was like, Laura, come here. Look, they're bringing Kyle back, and like he's in his real costume. Like, this is amazing. And she has like no idea at the time. She had no idea who this character was. She's like, cool. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is huge. This is huge. It's been like 20 years since he looked like this. Like, so it was very cool. But it's funny now though. She's very well versed in Kyle Rayner and Wally West and all these characters. You know.
Well, being married to you and you're entrenched in it, I'm sure she's been at shows. So, but
Yeah.
By the way, I'm looking down because I'm sharing this into groups, so I'm not being rude. But I mean, how many people in the world can honestly say that they got to illustrate some of their favorite iconic mythical, or media characters? I mean, that's a huge achievement. How do you keep your ego in check? Because you're a down to earth dude. You don't let it get to your head.
Yeah, I feel like the stress of like deadlines and just like the freelance life kind of keeps all that into check, you know. But it's when you stop to think though about like every once in a while I'll stop and think like, oh man, I like drew Superman stories that like are canon, like in Trinity. It's like that's pretty cool, But it's definitely one of those things where like because of like the freelance life, you definitely have to take those moments to smell the roses, so to speak,
Dude, your Wonder Woman is freaking awesome. I mean, I'm a big proponent of drawing strong women that have femininity, but they're not over sexualized. I love your Wonder Woman. It's freaking she's awesome. Yeah, and of course you do the Boy Scout Superman when you draw him. You get the curl. Yeah, you do. I know you don't like the underwear. We used to go back and forth about that.
Well, I've come around on it. Like not like I've had because one of my buddies has a Superman podcast called Digging for Kryptonite. His name's Anthony Desiato, and I've been on his show many times. And we've talked all manner of Superman, like Smallville, TV show, movies, comics, all of it. And like I went back and listened to some of my episodes, and I've gone on this like roller coaster with like Superman's design, where like as a kid, like the classic look was like, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was awesome, right? And then like I loved his electric blue design as a kid, and I thought that was cool. And then like I went back to be like, no, classic's the only way to go. And then when the New 52 came out, I was like, no, this is awesome. I love getting rid of the underwear, I like the armor, I love all of it. And I still maintain that I like that look. Like I like the New 52 look. Like I think it's cool. But I also there is something to me about just that classic Christopher Reeve look. Like the underwear, it's like objectively, it's like kind of goofy, but like who cares? It's iconic. It's like that's what Superman looks like. That's what everyone knows him to look like. So like I've come to this point where like as long as he looks like Superman, I'm good. Like whatever that takes. Like as long as he's identifiable as Superman, whether he's got the trunks, no trunks, armor, no armor, jacket, no jacket. Like as long as he looks cool, I'm happy. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Well, you're one of the few people that like the electric blue Superman, but yeah, I mean, I just
dude, I was like,
I love your art. Oh, what are you doing? You're dating me here. You're showing how old I am. What the hell? Does that mean I'm old enough to be your father? Shit, I don't know. But I don't know. I remember sitting in the car across from Pratt and talking comics with you, and you were just down to earth, a fan. And, those are the people you love to see drawing these books because you're as passionate about it as we are. I mean, obviously you have your deadlines and it's business, but you have the same passion, and I love that. And it comes out, and I think it comes out in the work. Hi, Addie. What's going on?
Hey.
So you work for DC. You've done a lot of great stuff. But what are your influences outside of Marvel and DC? Because that's going to segue into what you're working on now.
Yeah. So I mean, I've always obviously been a huge Marvel and DC fan growing up, but there was like a big period in my childhood when like I want to say it's probably started on like 5th grade when anime started kind of coming into like the mainstream. And it was like first with Pokemon, and then with Ronin Warriors was like the big one that like I think it was on USA in the mornings in USA, and I caught it a couple times back then, but it wasn't until it hit Toonami in the Cartoon Network Toonami block where Ronin Warriors, Gundam Wing, and Dragon Ball Z were like all back to back, and like I remember being just so like, holy shit, this stuff looks awesome, and like it made me like get wholly back into art like when I was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, like just drawing all the time, and like the dynamics and like how just like everything just looked better. I thought in anime, like it just looked like there was a lot more quality, a lot more like effort put into the work, and like the backgrounds, the animation, the characters, everything just looked really cool. And so that was like this huge influence for me. Like I just became like obsessed with like this like anime look, and then like obviously the time like Legend of Zelda and Final Fantasy were games that were really big for me as a kid. So like Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, and 10. Like I remember one Christmas I got all those games at once, and it was just like nuts. Like I like was playing those for like years. And same thing with Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask on N64. And so like that whole like kind of like combo of like fantasy and like anime and sci-fi and like mechs and all that kind of stuff was like this huge part of my developmental like youth, you know. And then when I got to high school, I got back into American comic books, but like I gravitated, like that's when I discovered who Jim Lee was, because I wasn't aware of who he was before that. I just wasn't really paying attention to that stuff when I was like in like 4th grade, you know, 3rd grade. So, and I discovered Jim Lee, and I was like, whoa, this guy's art is so sick. And Michael Turner, same thing. He started coming on the scene at DC, very similar. Like right after that, he was doing those covers for Flash, and then he was doing the Superman Batman run, and it was like this kind of like 1-2 punch of like holy crap, like this, I want to do this. This looks so good. And it's funny because that image, like 90s image, Top Cow, Wildstorm, Extreme Studios style that I really gravitated towards. Looking back at now, like I realized those guys were all very influenced by anime, like especially listening to Rob Liefeld's podcast. Like I hear like how like all those like that 90s image, like that was like in Tom McFarlane, all those guys were like really influenced by like Japanese manga and anime that like wasn't even in the States at the time. Like they were getting it from like bookstores in like California and stuff. And so it's funny that like I didn't realize that until very recently, until like a few years ago. And like I think it's interesting how like the American style that I gravitated toward was one that was still like very influenced by like anime and stuff. So it's now taking all those influences together is kind of like where I feel like my natural style has evolved. Like I feel like when I was first breaking in, I was very much like a Michael Turner devotee, you know, like because he's like my favorite, and I just wanted to be like him so bad. And like my style's naturally changed since then. Like I think I've started inking myself. I've gotten more into like the dynamics and movement of characters on the page just for like storytelling purposes, and like just that feeling of motion and movement and energy. Like Joe Mad is a huge influence on me. Like with that, like I feel like everything he draws just looks like it's like moving and powerful, you know. And like if my goal now is like if I can get like the energy and movement of Joe Mad with like kind of like the aesthetics of like some anime that I like, with like kind of like the beauty of Michael Turner, but with like the shading and rendering of David Finch, and like, you know, like if I can just like there's so many things I just love, and all these artists that I love, and like I'm just kind of trying to like when I draw, I'm just thinking about the things that I like, and it's all kind of coming through my filter, and hopefully my style is unique and different and unique to me, you know.
When I met you, you had a Turner Silvestri kind of hybrid style, I thought, and Silvestri is just a beast. With your own style in there, of course. And I look at your work now, especially on Soul Striker, and yes, you've evolved more. Again, like you said, you're inking yourself. That changes things to where you could do that David Finch tight pencil 90s style, or you could do the manga anime style. And then you have, when we look at Soul Striker, when we bring it up, a hybrid of both, where it's highly detailed, manga influenced art, and the book looks friggin' beautiful. I mean, just for the art alone, to me, it's something that would need to be picked up. But of course, you know, I'm biased, I'm a fan, but I mean, if the story is engaging as I believe it's going to be with your art, this is going to be, you know, people, they fall asleep, right? If hindsight's a bitch. if they knew what Battle Chasers and all this other stuff was going to be and what Joe Mad was going to be back then, they would have glommed it all up, right? I'm telling everybody to glom it up now because they're going to regret it if they don't get the first printing of this book. But
thank you. I appreciate that so much. And like what you described, it's so good to hear you say that, like that detailed, tight American style, but with like the anime influence. Like that's kind of exactly what I was like, going for. And like not in like a way that's I want to stress, I feel like in the last few years there's been this like narrative in comics that like manga's like kicking ass and everyone's kind of trying to like ride the manga wave, but it's like, no, man, I'm old school. I've been liking this stuff since like Toonami and year 2000. I know there's people way older, like there's a generation like, behind me too. Like I understand that there's people who are like, no, man, I was watching like Ghost in the Shell in '93 or whenever that came out. So like,
I was there when Akira first came out. I was there when that first came out. Yeah. I was watching the Shogun Warrior cartoons that they had on an old network called Womeko Home Theater. I was watching 8-Man and Vampire Hunter D and all that stuff. Yeah. So Fist of the North Star.
Oh yeah, Fist of the North Star. Yeah, that's
and I have Ninja Scroll and I still own it. I have it on disc here. Ninja Scroll. I love Ninja Scroll.
Oh, Ninja Scroll. So Ninja Scroll streaming on Amazon right now. And
like, is it?
I started watching it. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah,
I didn't know that. I gotta check that out.
It's really cool.
So I want to bring up the campaign that you have going live. We have 58 hours left. And you're rocking it. You guys, you're going to fund. To me, that's a guaranteed. You're at $37,504. 313 backers, 58 hours to go. Congratulations. Your first campaign is doing very well. Before we get into the campaign itself, tell the viewers about your emotionally, mentally, physically, your first Kickstarter campaign.
Oh, it's been... It's been very stressful. I had a lot of my friends telling me, they're like, you don't know what you're in for. Like, it's going to be a lot harder than you thought. And I went into it, like, knowing it was going to be a lot of work, right? Like, I mean, create your own books, just the nature of it, there's a lot of work behind it, like not just the creative end of it, which is obviously a very time intensive, so this book I'm co-writing with my friend Jason Matthews, and I'm doing all the art. So like, there's obviously a lot of time intensive labor that goes into that, but also just like the managerial aspect, like handling payroll, setting up like your LLC, like all this stuff that like you don't think about when you think you're going to go into do this business for yourself. So that's all been incredibly stressful. And then making the Kickstarter itself has been an emotional roller coaster for sure. But I'm really proud of like what we did, what we've accomplished so far. And it was very important to me that this book looks and feels like the biggest budget mainstream book. Like I want to be like, you could put this on the shelf next to like X-Men or Batman or Battle Chasers or the Ghost Machine books, and like it would fit right in terms of like quality. Like you look at it like, oh yeah, this totally fits. But at the same time, this is also the most indie of indie projects. Like it's literally me and Jason, like us two doing it ourselves. And we obviously hired Andrew Dahlhaus to color it, and then Josh was lettering it. So it's literally and Mark Roslin did our logo design. So it's literally a team of 5 people who put this together. Like, so I'm really proud of what we've done so far.
People don't even understand the simple thing of a logo design is very important. How many logos are not legible or they don't match the feel of the book. So it's great when you get when you get a logo designer who really knows what they're doing. That can make a break, like lettering of a book, right? It can make or break it, because if you don't know what the hell, some of these people, I see the logos, you can't read. Like, what am I reading? What is the title? But even the logo just strikes you.
Oh, thank you. I mean, big shout out to Mark Roslin. He's the Aspen Comics. He's part of that their company, and he's like the graphic designer who does all their stuff for them. And he was very gracious to be able to help me out with design. Like I sent him like a little sketch of like the idea that I wanted, and he like knocked it out of the park, like brought it to life and made it shine and gleam and get the exact look I wanted. Like I wanted it to look like in like a 90s anime kind of title, and like he knocked it out of the park. And he also did our Neon Frontier, little publishing house we made is called Neon Frontier Studios, and he did the logo for that too, which is an NFS with like a neon heart behind it. It's very, very cool.
That's cool. That's cool. I didn't see that. I gotta go look. It's on your page?
Yeah, it's on the covers. So if you look at the covers,
okay.
It'll be in the top corner of the covers.
Well, we're gonna take a look now. I'm gonna enlarge the screen, as handsome as we are, and we're gonna do the trailer. Let's check this bad boy out. There you go.
There's the logo.
Look at that. Are you there? Can you hear me? What the hell happened?
Yes. The video on my site was a little staggery. So hopefully viewers got to see it smooth.
We'll play it again before the show's over. We lost a connection somehow. Damn it. The art is freaking unbelievable. What is going on here? Hello?
Yeah, you're roboting a little bit.
I don't know why. I'm hard-lined into the computer. I don't understand why this is happening. I'm literally Ethernet cable, so this doesn't happen. What the frig?
I hope it's not on my
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, on my end. I'm lagging pretty bad though. Like there's a reverb on my end. There's a reverb on my end.
I don't know why it's doing this. I'm literally on an Ethernet cable so that this doesn't happen. I'm not even on Wi-Fi. I don't understand why this is happening. Anyway, we'll show the trailer again before we go. The art is fantastic. The detail in the costumes and everything. How long does it take you to draw pages with this kind of detail? My God.
Yeah, quite a while.
So here's some of the covers. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, when I designed the characters, I just wanted to make them look as cool as possible. And then when I was doing the pages, I was like, oh man, I put a lot of stuff on these characters.
Now, you and Andrew have worked together before. He compliments you very well. He's obviously a great colorist. And he just really is. The art is coming off the page with the colors. Did you? And I have to look. Are you offering an artist edition where it's all black and white, just your art?
No. So we had in the first 48 hours, we had a black and white cover set.
Okay.
Which was just 3 of the covers that were in black and white, but the interiors are going to be full color.
Cool.
but we're looking at for the future possibly doing something that's a black and white version.
Very
We're
cool.
toying with the idea, maybe.
I would love an artist edition kind of the book. Get both. So talk about the story. I know you can't give away spoilers, but give us that pitch. Like, what's the story about?
Yeah. So the overall elevator pitch here. Sorry, it's the reverb. I'm trying not to get talking over myself. Give me 1 second. Okay. So as war erupts across the battle-scarred land of Impera, the reluctant Princess Roxy Sakai and her rookie Soul Striker knights must band together to reclaim their kingdom and combat the Fomorian armies of Dracul that threaten to cast their world into eternal darkness. On their journey, they will reconcile truths from a concealed past, master the mysteries of the Solar Key that power their kingdom, and unite peoples of disparate nations as they fight to bring salvation to their world.
Awesome.
Did that come in clear?
Sorry. Yeah, we got you.
Of the roboting. Okay, cool. So it's basically it's a war story mixed with like superhero aesthetics thrown into it. So the basic premise is on this world of Impera. This world is basically split into two factions or two sort of sets of races of people. There's humans, and then there's this monstrous like shadow race of creatures called the Fomorians. And so this world of Impera, it's got energy pulsing throughout its whole land, and there's two different energies: there's the Solar Key and the Shadow Key, and both are this harmonious sort of energy that powers the planet. And the humans, and specifically the royal family of this nation called Hikari, they've mastered the power of the Solar Key. So the king is like he can control the Solar Key. His family has the power to manipulate the solar energy and weaponize it essentially, and they've used it to like power their nations and power their soldiers. And the Soul Strikers are this elite division of soldiers that the king is able to siphon off solar matter and imbue their swords with the solar power and bind it to the Soul Strikers. And so they're at this war with the Fomorians, who are, like I said, this monstrous race of creatures who, for all intents and purposes, are immortal. They're like vampires, werewolves, gargoyles, demons, and their only weakness is sunlight. And so they've been for centuries at war with the kingdom of Hikari, because Hikari, the Hikarians see the Fomorians as a threat to their people, right? They're monsters. They literally kill and eat people, and if left unchecked, they would basically like rule the planet, because they're much stronger than humans are, right? But the humans they've mastered the Solar Key, and they've weaponized it. And because of this advance of technology they have, they've been able to essentially kind of like push the Fomorians into to beat them back into the unfertile ground, into the wasteland. So the Fomorians are very disenfranchised at this point. We see them in the story. They're marginalized. They see themselves being downtrodden upon, and they have this bone to pick with Hikari because they feel like they've been unrightfully disenfranchised by the kingdom, and so but while Hikari at the same time, they're trying to protect their people. They don't want monsters killing their citizens, and they have their own place in this world that they want to protect. So it's a very sort of contentious spot that we find our characters in the beginning, and our main group of heroes of Soul Strikers and the princess, who's the heir to this Solar Key. It sort of takes off when the war kind of comes crashing in on their doorstep, and they're kind of thrown into this conflict. It's something they've always heard about, but they're thrown into the conflict, and they have to start deciding on their journey, like, what do we stand for? What do we fight for? Like, are the institutions we've been told about that are right, are they actually right? Or are the things that we're being told to fight for, are they kind of messed up? And the same thing with the Fomorians too, is like, they're sort of on this very like violent path, but there's going to be questions of, in the Fomorian ranks, of, is this the right thing that we're doing? And so it really, there's a lot of esoteric ideas about, about conflict and peace and harmony, and like a lot of my ideas about how like ultimately the message of the book is like one of pacifism, of the overall book. But there's going to be like lots of action, and just it's going to be with all these like kind of big ideas kind of put into a book. This is filled with action and adventure and like a throwback to like Saturday morning cartoons as well. So there's going to be a little bit for everyone in there.
That's awesome. Being that you're the artist, did you have full reign on the designs, or did Jason help with the designs?
No, they're all my designs. It's like the original idea for this book years ago, like I want to say like 10 plus years ago now, was when I was first trying to break into the industry. I just wanted to draw a superhero, and like as a kid, a little kid, you know, vampires and werewolves and stuff like that, like monsters always scared me. And so like as a little kid, like the way I would kind of get over those fears would think like, oh, Superman could beat these like monsters, you know. And so I came up with this idea of a superhero that fought monsters, and like it was based on Arthurian legend, and like Excalibur was this solar sword that was passed down through generations, and it was like a guy, like we called him the Sun, and he was a superhero that like fought monsters in the present day, kind of like the show Supernatural. But then like around 2018, 2019, I started getting back into video games again, and I played Final Fantasy 15 and the new Zelda, and I started rewatching all that anime that I was talking about before, like because it was all coming out on Blu-ray, and I was just like experiencing all this stuff that I loved when I was like in middle school, like all at the same time, and it just kind of like it gave me that like jazz of excitement, that creative excitement, that like, man, I want to do this, right? Like, and so I called up Jason. I was like, dude, I've got an idea to change our idea for the Sun character and like make it a team book, because I've always loved team books. I love the family dynamic that you get with team books, like the found family like aspect, and like make a group of characters, and like where any one of them could be the protagonist. Like, so if you look at our group of characters, like there's not one main character, there's not like one that the story follows. It's like truly each one of them could be the lead depending on where we were at in the story. And like I thought that was really important, because like I always found that really cool, like when there would be team groups, but they're all really cool. Like you don't have like the goofy character or like the comic relief character. These are just like they're all cool. They all could be the main character. And like that was something that I always wanted to see in team kind of books. So that was my hope with designing all their looks, was that no matter who you are, like if you pick this book up, one of these characters is going to be like your new favorite character.
Do you have a favorite character?
I do. Varric is my favorite character. The one with the white hair and the big Buster sword looking. He's like very Dragon Ball Z inspired, very Final Fantasy inspired. He's kind of like my version of like what, like if I could just draw one character for the rest of my life, like I feel like that would be him, you know. But interestingly enough, Axel, the one who looks the most like a superhero, his design was very close to that original superhero design that I came up with like 10 years ago. I just tweaked it slightly to make him look slightly more knight-like, so to give it more of a slightly more medieval look.
Right.
But his design is very, very similar to the original look, like the patterning and the cape and like the color scheme and stuff. Like that was he's very, very close to that original design. So he's a close second.
Now you said you co-wrote this with Jason. Is there any of you in any of these characters? Because you write from what you know.
Yeah, I mean, like it's funny because like I never really think that way, and like I don't really think Jason does either. Like when we were talking about the characters, like we come up with sort of like, I mean, obviously there is part of like yourself and everything you write, right? Like there's like how you would react, like how you would think, like the slang you use, like all that's in there. But when we were coming up with the different character templates, we had very clear ideas, like shorthand to each other, like with using other pop culture like references of characters, like if this character is the personality of like this character meets this character kind of thing, like, and so like it really, like it's not about putting like I don't feel like we've put ourselves into the book in any way, like other than like just other than how any other writer does, just like your experience of life and just seeing like the world that you see and like what you want to say, because like I said, like the overall message of the book is like one of like pacifism. It's like ultimately like it's about like harmony and balance, and like can people like get together to put their differences aside and see their similarities, like that's kind of like one of the big themes of the overall giant story that goes past issue 1,
which we all need to do right now.
Yeah, just because like everyone loses, when in like violence, so like that's kind of like the overall theme, but like there's also themes of like I said, family, camaraderie, like you're stronger together than you are apart, like all those sort of like sort of I feel like they're universal truths, like Varric very much is like he is his character is a lot of what I want to say about superheroes and like or heroic, not necessarily superhero. They're not really superheroes. They're like I said, they're soldiers, but like what I want to say about heroic type characters, about like taking the high road and like the trials you have to go through and like learning to like forgive and like and just like a lot of like I said, a lot of esoteric ideas, but wrapped in this like very high octane, action packed, fun comic book,
By the way, that Havoc is freaking incredible. I love Larry Stroman's redesign of Havoc, and look at that, it's just awesome. People,
thank you.
Guys, I don't know if you're aware, but it's not just the book. You could be drawn into the book for a tier and be immortalized in the comic.
Those are gone.
Oh, are they?
Those
good. Okay.
Yeah, those are snagged the first day, both of them. Yeah.
Oh, good. But you can get art from VCan as well, and I'm telling you, I mean, look, it speaks for itself. It's freaking incredible, dude. I mean,
yeah, if you get a commission, that comes with all the covers too, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Look at this. You get everything, swag, you name it, metal bookmarks, wallpapers, art. Oof. I think I told you a long time ago, if I was wealthy, you would probably be set for life. You'd just be drawing from me. It's fantastic.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And there's a retailer tier
as well. Yeah.
If anybody out there owns a store, wants some beautiful books on their shelves that are going to attract eyes, you should reach out and look to get these copies, man. It's a nice big book. Beautifully illustrated. I think you're sleeping if you don't pick it up. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's a 60. Thank you. It's a 64-page book. It's going to have 52 pages of story and 12 pages of behind the scenes, like sketches, development stuff, and some pinups too from some artist friends of mine. And it's going to be square bound. It's going to be a square bound book. And yeah, it's going to be like a mini graphic novel, I guess, is like, because it's like, that's kind of what we want to approach it with, like kind of thread that line between comic book and like fantasy storybook, so that's kind of where we're going with it. We're trying some new stuff with this because like we're leaning heavy into the fantasy aspect of it, like because I love like the whole anime fantasy thing, and Jason is a big like Lord of the Rings and tabletop RPG fan, so like we're incorporating a lot of elements of that. So if that's kind of stuff you like, there's a lot of like homages to the stuff like that, like Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm into both of those, yeah.
Yeah, and there's also
I've been excited about this book for a while.
Oh, thank you. No, there's a really heavy sci-fi aspect to it too. So there's like there's one of the things the Kingdom of Hikari uses they're called Paladine suits, and they're essentially giant mechs that the Soul Strikers can pilot to fight like giant kaiju size Fomorian threats. Yeah, and there's a really cool sequence with that element to it as well. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I'm looking. You had the here we go. Here to show. So cool. You there?
Thank you. Yeah, it's a little bit of lag, but I'm here.
I don't know what's going on. But you can see scale too. There are the characters down below, and here's the armor. Very cool. Very cool. And I love that you did this. Just awesome art, and you get to see and read a little bit about the characters. You got one backer so far during the show, but unfortunately, we didn't get to promote the appearance very long, so we'll get a lot of after show views, and hopefully you guys will get them over the top within the next 24 hours. I mean, look at the art, listen to the story, comic books that, again, entertain you. I mean, isn't that what it's about? I mean, don't we miss that, right? Beautiful looking books that entertain you, and get you interested. And it's not just the action, but just a good theme, good characters that you can relate to. But I mean, look at the motion and the action in these pages. You were talking about it earlier, capturing the dynamics of movement. I mean, here's a perfect example of you capturing it. Just this sword right here, the way you did that
Thank you.
captures movement. It like the Joe Mad style of you can make a still look like it's moving, and you did it right here. It's just that sword alone. So, and by the way, this is a great
Thank you.
layout of
Thank
this
you.
panel. This is just top-notch professional work. I mean, that's why you work for DC on their biggest characters.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank
yeah, I
you.
like this page. I like this page a lot, actually.
That's one of my favorites.
I mean, just man, you obviously you know what you're doing when you break the panels and when you do your close-ups and your Dutch tilts and everything. It's just great panel layouts. And for those of you who like the more sensual pinups, you've got that option here. There's even a
Yeah.
foil version.
Yeah, that was a homage to like the Baywatch kind of pinup posters that we all had on our walls as teenagers. It's
Yeah,
like Maxim covers, Yeah, like I'm glad you brought that up before about being fun because like a big thing that I wanted to recapture with this was that feeling I had watching Saturday morning cartoons and watching anime
yes,
as a kid. Like this is basically like this is the book that I would have wanted to read when I was 14. Like when I was a teenager and just like eating this stuff up. Like
yeah,
this is like and like this is like I want to give other people that same feeling like when they read this is that just transport them back to their youth. Or if you are a teenager now and just you're just like, yeah, this is awesome, like I just that's that feeling that I've always been chasing, since that time in my life with when I read comics and when I watch these superhero movies and stuff. And I want to give that to other people with this book. Like I want people to be transported back to like a simpler time and just be like, this is just fun.
and that's what it should be. And I really am excited to get this. I mean, not just because I love your art, but because I know you as far as your passion for this. And I don't like those out there, maybe they needed to hear you say that, but I know just from our conversations how passionate you are about the comic book medium, sci-fi, all of that. So yeah, I'm excited to delve into this. How much of the book is done, and how much do you have left to do? Or
So it's obviously all written, and I've actually drawn all the pages. The only things that I need to draw for this first volume are the pages with where the people are getting drawn in. Those panels, I just have to draw
gotcha,
the characters in those panels. But other than that, the whole book is drawn right now. The
awesome.
only coloring we have done though are the preview pages and the covers. So the coloring and the lettering, and then the actual physical production still needs to get done. So we're targeting a December release to get it in your hands. Like that's when
Okay.
we're targeting to have done. I'm hoping, I mean, that's putting some time padding in for like mistakes and stuff. I'm hoping we can get it in sooner, but if we don't, like December that's what we're targeting for, to be like a nice Christmas gift to yourself or holiday gift to yourself or whoever you bought it for. So that's what I'm really, we're hoping for then. I mean, I would love to have it ready for New York Comic Con. But that all depends on, how fast we can get it colored and lettered and printed.
Well, Andrew's
So,
a pro, and as long as he doesn't have other deadlines, I'm sure you have a good chance. But if you don't, this is well worth the wait. People understand, and it's a big book. It's not a floppy, guys. It's a big book. So you're getting you're probably getting the equivalent of 2.5 issues in this book. Regular issues. So
yeah.
and obviously the quality, it takes time. So. I'm going to play the trailer again, and let's hope that we don't knock out here. Charles, what's going on? Raphael, what's going on? Have you guys backed this yet? If not, I'm going to go toilet paper your house. Let's go. Back this bad boy. VKen's one of the good ones, and he's an amazing artist, and he's got a great team. And let's play this again. What did it do? No, that's not what I want to do.
It's going to work.
All right, here we go.
Fingers
Sorry.
crossed.
Why does it keep doing this? I don't understand why it's doing that. I don't understand it. You want to try it again? Can you hear me?
Do it. I can hear you. Yeah.
I don't know why it's doing this. I never have a problem. What's going on, Ken? All right, I made it through. Great job on the trailer, whoever did it.
That Jason, he's the one who edited the whole trailer, and he did a fantastic job. He absolutely,
Yeah, he did. He did.
When I saw it, I was like, "Dang, this game was so good."
I know, and what he did with the logo was fantastic.
Oh, that was Mark. Mark did the logo. Yeah.
No, I mean like the effects on it in the video. It was very cool.
Oh yeah. That was those little the logo animations Mark did for us as well, which is really nice of him. Like with the sword coming through the back of the logo and stuff. And so he gave us those files that we were able to just put right in there, which was amazing.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, Raphael always has trouble. I don't know why that happened. Maybe it's your magnetic personality or mine. So you got one backer. Let's go, people. Let's get him over 40 grand in the next 24 hours so he can rest easy and just start focusing on drawing and not stressing out in marketing. Because that's the crappy part, right? All the marketing you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say thank you to every single person who pledged, like, truly from the bottom of my heart. Like, it means the world to me. Like, anyone who's pledged any of the tiers, like, indie comics it's a true passion. It's a labor of love, and we're really putting everything we have in it to make like the absolute best product for you to get and the most fun you'll have with it. So it's not like we understand the value of the hard-earned money that you put out for it. So we're definitely like doing everything we can to give you the best possible comic for your pledges and for your awards. And I really appreciate all the support.
Which, if it isn't apparent by what we've seen, then I don't know if your name should be Ray Charles, because this looks fantastic. It just looks like a lot of fun. I mean, I miss that. I miss that in comics. Just fun. I just want to have fun. Entertain me. Don't preach to me. I don't need it to mirror everything dark in the world. See, that's the thing. But you're one of those lighthearted guys too. You're not into the dark stuff. You're into the superheroes and bright spandex and let's have fun and let the hero be the hero. And I love that stuff. I love that too. I mean, as much as I can enjoy something like The Boys, I don't want everything to be The Boys. We need to have just good old fashioned Saturday morning entertainment again, right?
Yeah, no, and that was something with this, like I want to make it very clear, like this is not like a parody or a homage to anything else. This is a new, brand new like concept that me and Jason are taking very seriously, and we want it. We want this, like I said, in 10 years to be people's favorite like thing, you know, favorite IP, favorite book, and like these
Yeah.
characters will stand on their own as like their own like great cool characters. And yeah, like that like you're talking about being fun and like not being mired by the darkness of the world. Like that was like a big thing, like why I wanted to make it in a fantasy world to begin with, was because I feel like you can do like allegories for things that are happening in real life, but like it's not pulled down by it, you know. It's like
Beating you
it
over the
is
head with
like
it.
yeah,
Right.
and you can read into it or not, and you could just experience it as the fun like hero adventure heroic quest to save the kingdom that it is, or you can see like some of the more like character driven emotional things that are in there as well, you know. So that was really important to me. Like I just wanted to be like this fun kick-ass adventure action book, you know. And like yeah, I want people to read this to be inspired by our heroes too, to be like, these guys are awesome, these characters rock. Like I can see myself in these characters, but I also want to be like these characters. Like to me, that perfect balance of the characters that are relatable and aspirational at the same time, you know what I mean? Like I feel like if you go too hard in one direction, like it can be alienating to some people. But I feel like that to me my favorite characters are the ones that thread that line by being relatable and aspirational, and that's something that we want to bring with all of our characters in this.
Yeah, and this is the cover I backed, by the way. I like them all, but I just thought this is cool because it
Thank you.
encompasses everybody, and it's just got all that energy in it, and you get to see nice full body characterizations, the armor and everything. So I like all that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, that was like my idea of like a Star Wars type, like, you know, like those montage Drew Struzan
Yeah,
type covers. I always loved those. And it's funny because like the mainstream industry, like they really don't like those covers. Like at least like editors and companies, like because I would always like, not just one company, like every company I've ever worked for, like I would always do those as like layouts, as like ideas, and they would never go with those. They'd always want to go with more like, you know, just clean character shots, or like, you know, like a storytelling type cover. But like I've always loved character covers like this, where it's like a movie poster and you got like a little bit of everyone.
well, I mean, it's epic, right? I mean, not only is it epic, but it tells a story in its own right, and it introduces all the characters. I mean, I don't understand why they wouldn't want to go for. I mean, especially with all the variants they do. Why not throw them as a variant? Everybody loves movie posters. I mean, Hildebrand is famous for his Star Wars movie poster.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I like them all, but this is the one I went with. Absolutely. I wish I could have got some original
Thank you.
art, but I am very fortunate though because you are on almost all of my jams at this point.
Yeah,
You,
I was looking at the background of our stream, and I did the Superman that's on the background
yes.
of the stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hang on. You know what? You're right. Let me. How do I do that?
Thank you for having
All
me
right.
on all your
Before
jams.
we go, I'll show it.
I remember
Yeah.
the first one we did was the Nightcrawler, right? The X-Men one. That was the very
Yes.
first one.
It's dude. It's like the freaking best Nightcrawler ever.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I still haven't gotten that inked yet. And I want to get Scott Hanna's going to ink it, and then I'm going to have it colored by two different colorists, two of the best in the business. One, Alex Sinclair is going to color a version, and then Chris Sotomayor is going to color a version. I'm going to have both colored versions because I love both of them. Are just amazing colorists. The two top-notch colorists in the industry, and you can. What's going on here? I'm not on Wi-Fi. Why is the connection unstable? I don't know why the connection's unstable. I am hardwired in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Technology.
I'm hardwired in. I don't understand it. All right. I apologize for all the connectivity issues. Guys, it's live right now with literally, what, 57 hours? Let's see. 57 hours to
Yeah,
go.
It ends on June 1st, so Saturday morning at 7:40 a.m. Eastern time. That's when the campaign ends. Yeah.
There you go. Just in time to get up for your Saturday morning entertainment and pledge before the end. $2,463 away. So can we get them there sooner than later? Let's not get this to the end, guys. In the next 24 hours, let's get them over the hump. If you're not following it, hit the follow button and you will get the remind me. You will get the reminder at 48 hours and at 24 hours in case you need that. But you could also just hit the green button right there. Back this project. Back it right now. And get it. Now, I'm on my Philbo publishing thing. That's why it doesn't show that I backed it. But on my regular Phil Russert, I backed the campaign early. So I've been waiting for this for a while. I remember you hinting at it and talking about it. So, yeah, man, I was excited when you announced it. And I'm wishing you success. You're just one of the best artists in the industry, and you're also just a fan like us, and you're a good dude, and I want to see you really succeed. Guys, get them to 40,000 in the next 24 hours. Do it. You won't be disappointed.
Thank you so much. Yeah, anyone who backs, I really appreciate it. And if you do back, please, or even if you can't, if you don't have the funds for it, but you want to support, like, just tell all your friends, tell everyone you know, like, signal boost for it as much as you can. Please, I'd be very grateful for that, because, like, with indie books, the hardest thing is getting the word out and, like, getting people that might want to back it, just like getting them to know about it. So if you have anyone in your life that likes 90s style comic books or anime or manga or just fun action packed kind of books like this, like, please let them know. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Cool. Before we go, I'm going to give you the floor, just a minute or two. Your pitch, your elevator pitch, why we want this book, why we need this book, why we're going to get this book.
Yeah, I mean, so of everything that I've been saying before, yeah, it's super fun, like anime mixed with Saturday morning cartoons, mixed with 90s comics, putting all I have into it. It's a sci-fi fantasy concept set on a fictional world with heroes powered by the sun called Soul Strikers fighting these immortal creatures of the night called Marions, and locked in this epic war for control of their world. And yeah, and every character is super fun, very character-driven story. I guarantee you that one of these characters will be your new favorite character. They're all very fun and cool and aspirational and relatable. And it's just been like a really fun book to work on, and we're very passionate about it. And yeah, I co-wrote it and illustrated it. Andrew Dahlhaus colored it. My friend Jason Matthews co-wrote it with me. Josh Reed is lettering it, and Mark Rosen did the logo design, and my wife helped edit it. And that did I cover everything? Go to the campaign and back. Please go to the campaign and back, because we're so close. And yeah, if you, I'm on Instagram at @VKenMarion and on Twitter @VKMarion. If you have any questions or want to talk about the book or anything, just follow me on either platform, and yeah, we can talk Soul Striker and comic goodness.
Yeah, man, and like I said, VKen is a fan. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's a fan just like us. So you're gonna get all the things that you want in a comic book, because he knows what you want, because he wants it too. So go check it out. Pledge now. Soul Striker. It's available for another 57 hours. Get them funded. Let's go. All right, VKen, man, it's good to talk to you. It's good to see you. And Where will you be? Any shows coming up? Are you going to be at Undiscovered Realm?
I am. Yeah, I'm going to be at Undiscovered Realm Comic Con, and I'm going to be at Garden State Comic Fest in June. I'm also going to be at Heroes Con for the first time in North Carolina this year. So I'm really excited about all
Awesome.
those shows. And then I'm also going to be at Terrificon
Hmm.
in August
Oh, you
and
are.
Wicked Awesome Con in Boston. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So I'm tabling at Undiscovered and at Terrificon, and I'll go as a fan to Jersey. So I'll see you. All right, cool.
Nice, ninice, nice. It'll be great to
Yeah,
catch up in
it's you
person.
doing
I
all
haven't
these
seen you since
cons
been in
all
New
of a
York.
sudden.
Yeah.
Look at you doing all
Yeah,
these
yeah,
cons.
yeah. I know COVID. It's since COVID, the only one I've done is New York for the last few years. So I used to do a lot of cons, and for the last I don't know 4 years or so, I haven't done that many. So it's going to be good to get back into the circuit and see everyone, and hopefully meet new fans and new readers and talk about comics.
And just remember, if you back this campaign, guys, now when it comes out and you go see him at a show, he can sign it, he can remark it, he could do some cool stuff, some cool art in it when you see him at a convention. But you got to get the book to do that.
Yep.
All right, man. I'll see you at Undiscovered Realm in like a month.
That sounds good. Phil, thank you so much again for having me. Thank you for taking the time to have me on the show. It's been so much fun
Yeah,
hanging out and talking.
sorry about the connectivity. I don't know what happened. I've done tons of lives and this doesn't happen, so I don't know. But
I think
anyway,
it's because it's like thunderstorming right now. I think that's like part of the issue.
well, anyway, the book speaks for itself, guys. Go pick it up. Soul Striker right now on Kickstarter. V. Ken Marion, thanks for coming out and being an awesome artist and awesome dude. And we will see you. By the way, guys, just to show you, here you can find VKen's page on Instagram. Right there, VKen Marion.
Yep.
If you're not following, go follow. You can get all the updates on Soul Striker. You can also see all of his cool art that he does, and some videos. And you see, just look at his work. It's just incredible. Anyway, and then he had a Brett Booth cover, which we didn't talk about. Brett Booth, another amazing, amazing artist. So
really quick,
that's his Instagram. Go check it out. Go follow him. Go support.
Yeah. Before we go, just really quick, we have a variant cover by Brett. There's 8 variant covers altogether. I did 5 of them. Brett Booth did one, Joe Benitez did one, and Sue Lee did one. And they're all 3 of them are spectacular. And I feel so lucky to have all of them on there because Joe and Brett are they're my heroes growing up, and Sue is an amazing up and coming superstar. So it's so cool to have all 3 of them. And so if you want to see the characters drawn in the style different than mine, it's really they all have really cool takes. So please go check them out.
Yeah, there's the Brett Booth. Friggin' awesome. All right, man. It's good talking to you, and I will see you on the flip side.
Cool. Take care. Thank you so much, Phil.
All right. So that was V. Ken Marion. I'm telling you, he's been one of, if not my favorite artist, been one of my favorite artists for the longest time. Him and Mark Silvestri and David Finch, cream of the crop. John Byrne, he's on my Mount Rushmore with them, and he's just a cool dude. Real quick, I just want to remind you, Madcaps only has 22 hours to go. Ray Jameson's D&D fantasy story with some great covers, and it's funded, so you will get your books. But we got 22 hours, so please help us finish strong. This is Philbo Publishing, and it's a DM Ray on Facebook. It's his Dungeons & Dragons fantasy book. Go check it out. And lastly, before we go, she's coming back, and she's coming back strong, guys. Thursday, a week from tomorrow, we launch My Girl, Tragedy, again. Here's a quick video. Today. Any day now. Sorry, guys. Here we go. And that's not even the updated video with the Mark Bagley cover and other covers. So because I pulled the wrong one up in my haste. Anyway, that's Tragedy issue 6. That is the book that Chuck Dixon, Peter David, and Howard Mackey say is well written. So if you don't believe me, if you don't believe the fans that have read it, believe them. Go check it out. It launches Thursday. Sign up if you haven't. It's on my page, and find out what it's all about. I'm telling you, because if you don't, it'd be a real tragedy. All right. I'm going to leave you with what I always leave you with. Be legendary and have fun storming the castle.